Now you see it as an appropriate title for this episode because we finally got to see it in its true form, and that being a clown. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review Welcome to Derry, episode 3. Now you see it, and we started this one with a flashback. Now, at the beginning, I didn't realise who the flashback was involving, but we do actually learn that it was Shaw, played by James Remar, who's probably the most, the best, the
most notable guy on this show.
Yeah,
it was a guy I'd handpicked to be this young Shaw guy and actually have an everlasting arc, and it'd be him. But James Remar, it was James Remar.
Yeah, so James Remar is probably the reason we're watching this, and we get to see a young Shaw, a young James Remar, and he is reliving his experience. So we see him at this like carnival where there's. And we see all these workers dressed as clowns. A young Shaw goes into this like maze type puzzle, and the deeper he goes, the more scarier it gets, the more horrific looking clowns we see. And then he gets like pretty much right into the middle of it, and we get this image of a man that doesn't necessarily look like one of the employees, doesn't look like someone dressed up as a clown. This guy looks like someone just horrific, someone that is actually about 200 years old. This really does look like a real nasty, horrific figure. So we see Shaw run out of the maze, and he's confronted by his dad. His dad's like, "What you doing? Don't be a sissy." And his father gives him this toy that he won, and apparently it rooked him. It cost him all his money, and it's like some slingshot. Later on the way home, the car breaks down. Shaw has to go and get some water to try and fix the car. It's 5 cents. He's only got 3, but what he does have is a slingshot. So he sells it to one of the Native Americans that is selling water on the side of the road. Side of the road? Side of the road!
Is it not insane though, right, that 1908 is closer to 1960 than we are?
Is it not insane that they were charging 5 cents for water?
No, he didn't even have enough. We had 4 cents, they had to give her the fucking slingshot. So he gives Rose the slingshot. They're then running about, and then he runs into a bit he's not supposed to run into. It's the forest, and it's like, all right, what's going on here? He looks in the distance, and then you didn't like this image. You thought it made you uneasy, where the guy kept jumping among the trees.
Yeah, I know.
Like he was the fear or something.
Yeah, so
the fear.
I mean, you see Shaw looking into the distance, and the same figure that he's seen at the carnival is like peeking behind a tree, and you're like, oh crap, and then he almost like looks away for a split second, and he turns back, and the figure is now looking behind a tree that is much closer to him. And at this point, you're thinking, "Holy fuck!" So we then see Shaw getting chased, and this like monstrous. It was brutal looking, wasn't it? Disfigured.
Well, it didn't look that bad till it transformed. I mean, it was missing an eye, right? But here, it's chasing him. It's turning this like werewolf Wendigo type figure. It gets on top of him. It's about to eat him, but then Rose, like Pete Rose, fucking nails its head clean off you with a slingshot.
Yeah, it's a good job because I mean, she could have threw like 5 cents at it. I don't think it would have done as much damage.
Definitely not. But anyway, it loses its eye. It chases him out of there, and then they get out, and she's like, "Why you start running, boy?" I don't know why he's about 9. He's about fucking 8-year-old, but and she's like, "Oh, it doesn't come out the forest." A 7 fucking 12-year-old comes out with that pish when that's chasing.
You know what? Maybe it doesn't come out the forest, but I would certainly be getting a bit more.
Does your arse come out the forest?
I would be getting a bit more distance than that.
Aye.
I mean, how far out were they from the forest? Would you say?
Fuck, about
5 meters?
Nah, yeah, roughly about that. Aye, about 20 odd yards or something.
I would have been. I'd have just kept on running. Not going to lie. And then later on, we find out that Shaw had to leave. His father was getting deployed somewhere else, so he has to leave Derry. But as a parting gift, Rose gives him back his slingshot, and then we see Rose later on when she's older, and obviously we know Shaw now is older. He visits her at the pawn shop, and
they reminisce. He then goes on to explain the reason for the excavations, and now there's 2 ways to take this, right? Either this guy is fully aware of what's actually happening here, or he's not. I'm more in the camp of he is fully aware of what's happening, but at the same time he thinks this demonic creature can actually be used against the Russians. I think he's lying to her when he says he doesn't remember an awful lot. He's like, oh, the only reason I remembered your name is because it came up on this sheet of paper the other day.
How though? That doesn't even make sense. How can you use this creature? How would you even get it on your side?
But I think that's what they're going for.
Are you sure? Are you sure he's not just using this as an opportunity to try and find it and kill it?
Because we've seen when you show fear around Pennywise or whatever, it kills people. So maybe he thinks if they can extract him from Derry, Maine, and put him in fucking Moscow, it's going to make the Russians go loopy. Now, how do you even begin to do that? I don't know.
I mean, I thought it was just more simple. As he wants to try and he's got unfinished business. And
I think that
he's returned to Derry.
That makes a lot more sense rather than like trying to take it the Russians' way. Maybe he's using the code.
Yeah, but let's be honest. If he turns around and says to the military, "Oh, there's this evil clown that we need to try and find that's killing people," they're going to be like, "Fuck, General, you can't be in charge here. Your head's gone." So
it's up for debate.
So if he's having to come for a different strategy, there's our weapon that we need to try and find that could help us win this battle, whereas in reality he doesn't maybe plan on using it.
Would you argue? No, I totally agree, right? If he comes up with the clown patter, then they're not going to fucking do it. But do you not think it's already retarded? He's like, this Hallorann guy, he's got these paws and he's sitting in the back, man, stroking a fucking 50-year-old slingshot, and everyone's supposed to go along with it. It's a fucking load of shite. I think the show's a bit retarded. I think this episode definitely took strides in the right direction in terms of explaining like the connection here, but again, he lies to her.
Well, the fact he gave him the slingshot, I mean, that obviously knows he was aware. Yeah, he knows what.
So he's lying to her. Absolutely, and he says.
Yeah, but I don't think he's planning on I don't see it. He's planning on using it as a weapon. Oh, we're going to team up with it. We're going to be allies, and we're going to take on the Russians.
No, I'm not saying he's teaming up with it. He's going to use it. Big difference.
No, I don't think so.
Right, we'll fucking see then. I think that's his game plan.
Well, if that's his game plan, would you not argue that makes him an antagonist? I'd say he's a villain.
Well, maybe he's going to turn. He's already battered our fucking main character, didn't he? He put that shitstorm in motion, brother. Either way, they talk, and he alludes to the fact, alright, if you get the council to agree to it, then we'll only dig at the bits where your ancient ancestors aren't buried. Wouldn't be the first time the Americans fucked over the natives.
No, probably not.
Won't be the last. So.
I mean, that sums all that up. I did like the flashback, so we're getting to see a bit more of Shaw, because I think up to this point we haven't really gotten that much of him. We did see a wee bit more bonding between Leroy Hallorann and what's the other man called? What's the other guy called?
Hallorann.
Hallorann. So Hallorann goes to Hanlon's house, and Hanlon figures out that you were the guy that was in that room. You attacked me that night, and Hallorann's basically like, yeah, the part where you're supposed to have a bit of fear in your brain, you don't have that part. So he says he doesn't want to mess with him. Plus, they were also up in a plane, and Hanlon saved his life.
Helicopter, but yeah. No.
Helicopter, plane, same shit. They were up in the air.
Plane wouldn't work in that. Trust me.
Yeah.
They wouldn't send a plane to do the job of a helicopter.
That is true, like.
So, he also says, where's your boy? Then he calls him outside. He's like,
I didn't mention I had a boy.
Leave my boy's name out your mouth. Right then, Lily and Ronnie, they recruit Will and Rich into their plan. We also seen that Lily's back inside the mental place, the place for people that are no right in the head.
Juniper High.
Yeah. Also, Ronnie's father is in prison, and she had some like nasty shit scribbled on her locker. There wasn't that much stuff involved in the school here.
Thank God. I think there was too much of that. They speak
to Will and Rich claims that the thing is an Orixá, an evil spirit, and that his uncles told him all about it. So they set out to summon it. They've got their camera. They figure if they can capture a photo of it, then that'll be proof, because otherwise no one else will believe them. They go to this like cemetery. Rich then tries to go and take a leak. They say, well, hold on, if you break the chain here, then it's not going to work. And he's basically like, don't worry about it. And then they kind of determine that he's talking shite and that he doesn't know anything about Orixás or evil spirits. So Lily and Ronnie then decide to leave, and then all of a sudden we do get the evil spirit, and it starts chasing them. It takes all these different forms. They get on their bikes. Honestly, I'm just not a big fan now of kids on bikes because it just gives me Stranger Things vibes.
Well, I never watched Stranger Things, but the problem I've got with this is that, like, this should be a traumatic fucking experience, at least for two of them, because they've never experienced this before. Did I get that far? I mean, they are getting chased by dead ghost kids and a demon fucking clown guy. That, alright, they're not really aware of who he is at the minute, but they know something's going on. And they're just not selling it for me.
Yeah, I expect
Like,
you pissing your pants yet, Rook?
yeah,
should be pissing their pants.
Yo, see, unless you're like Stallone or Schwarzenegger or like Steven Seagal, then I don't see why you wouldn't be pissing your pants here.
Even Schwarzenegger feared the Predator, like.
Yeah, I just, it takes the believability of it for me. It blurs it. Like, that's why I fought back in episode 1, like, there was just visions rather than like it actually happened, because it's the kids. I think the kids are good actors, and I'm not saying they're not capable of showing like scaredness, because kids can do that. But to me, it doesn't make much sense why they're not that scared.
Well, maybe they believe it is just visions.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Rather than an actual physical threat. Either way, they managed to get out the cemetery. Will is the last one to do so. They managed to drag him out. He's got the camera. He's got the good old camera. And
go to a dark room.
Yeah, he knows how to develop the pictures. They develop the pictures. And we see in one of the pictures, there's like a figure with like glowing eyes beginning to take form. And they're looking at it. They're trying to discover what that is. And they determine that figure is indeed a clown. And yeah, obviously that is it. That's Pennywise's true form. So yeah, maybe now going forward, we'll actually get to see the clown. We'll get to see it rather than just these visions and these other monsters, which they've been okay. But at the end of the day, I think we need to see the real thing. And I would imagine we're likely to see that now.
Absolutely, but I just hope these kids can get this photo to the adults, the James Remars of this world, because that's what's going to matter, not these kids running about with it. I want the real man.
We need James to get his hands on that photo. Anyway, guys, that is it for this episode. What are you giving it ratings-wise?
I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's good, but I do think it's not hard to follow. I just think a lot of it doesn't make a bit of sense. But maybe they'll clear up in a few episodes.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 as well. I'm still a bit confused about the whole digging to find this weapon to help beat the Russians. I'm assuming that's like a smokescreen, and that James Remar's plan or Shaw's plan is to really just try and use that as an excuse to dig up it, try and find it, and put it down once and for all. But then again, it did seem like it seemed like they were going in that whole direction before these kids even died. But maybe there's been enough deaths and he's been hunting it for a long time. Who knows?
Yeah, it was also referenced like a car that got shot in 1935, and that's like one of the dates that it comes back on. So we'll see how it plays out.
Alright, I'll get a 7 as well. That's it, guys. 7 out of 10. Until next time. Peace.